Bright lights and homes shaking. Grand Bahamians witness a passing meteor.
I saw a light flash, thought it was a lightning. Then I heard the house shake and the door rattling.
Also, the rollout of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine in Abaco. We have the details. And tonight, we feature a couple who is celebrating the fruits of their labor. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Good evening, Bahamas. I'm Shashina Will-Farkas, and as always, it is so great to have you with us. Topping the news, a coroner's inquest is underway in the capital into the deaths that occurred during Hurricane Dorian in September 2019. According to police, the inquest got underway yesterday, and DNA is being used to bring some closure on these matters. At last report, the official death toll from Hurricane Dorian was pegged at 67. 10 of those victims are from Grand Bahama, and some 29 persons are still listed as missing on the island. Now, we spoke with Donovan Bowe, who was the chief counselor at that time when Hurricane Dorian dealt a deadly blow to East Grand Bahama.
Those still missing are thought of with great fondness. We are people who believe in God, and we know one day that the sea will give up the dead, as described in Revelation 20. We continue to press forward in the rebuilding of our communities, doing so in a more resilient fashion, through the kind help of so many organizations, both near and far. Dorian's mark is etched in history, but undoubtedly it's etched in our hearts.
Bowe says while the inquest may be a step towards closure for some who have recovered loved ones, he says for these family members still unaccounted for, the struggle continues.
To learn of the beginning of the inquest into the victims of Hurricane Dorian was in itself bittersweet, as it represents some form of closure to families dealing with the entire ordeal, but contrastingly so, in my estimation, it could have happened sooner. Nevertheless, the residents are grateful that those remains which were recovered can now be formally identified through DNA evidence. East Grand Bahama residents are grateful that this initiative is taking place, and we are pleased that a new level of closure will come to those who continue to mourn for their loved ones.
In other news, bright lights, houses shaking, and many left in awe as a meteor illuminated the dark late last evening, streaking diagonally across the sky and projected to have landed right off of West End. Tonight, residents are sharing their experience with this rare occurrence.
Sonic boom that was in the Bahamas, heard in the Bahamas. How about that?
I saw a light flash, thought it was a lightning. Then I heard the house shake and the door rattling.
Gloria and Collie Lightbourne's experience was like many throughout Grand Bahama who heard, felt, or saw the exploding fireball that illuminated the night sky in Florida and the Bahamas.
Oh my gosh, what is that in the sky? Whoa.
Home surveillance capturing the phenomenon that brought an instant burst of daylight for just a few seconds.
Because I really thought it was Judgment Day.
Other residents also weighing in with their experience.
I heard something. I heard a boom, but I really didn't know because, sometimes you think it's like maybe a tire blowout or something like that. That's all I thought really of it.
I was sitting here watching TV. I heard it. The sliding glass door shook a little bit. I said, oh, well, that's my wife making noise upstairs. But I was surprised it was so close to us.
Many residents taking to social media trying to make sense of what happened. Many adding that their initial thought was it was the end of the world.
As I said, something down by the harbor, because to hear it where we live, and then I found out from my friends down more on the west side, they said they heard it. So, but I didn't see the bright light in the sky.
I saw some names say maybe somebody fell down or something like that. Some people were obviously terrified, really, really terrified, and some really thought it was the rapture. So it was interesting to see how people responded to it, because you never know when that day come in.
I really was scared because when I started to play my gospel music, I really thought it was the world coming to an end, honestly. But I was scared. It was really, I have a headache due to Me not sleeping last night.
According to the American Meteor Society, which documents fireballs, reports, and calculates the path of suspected meteors, believes that the fireball, which is defined as another term for a very bright meteor, traveled south to north about midway between the Atlantic coast of Florida and the western tip of Grand Bahama. Switching gears now, researchers from Colorado State University have released the forecast for the 2021 hurricane season. The forecast calls for an above-average hurricane season in terms of the total number of storms, including 17 named storms, 8 hurricanes, and 4 major hurricanes. An average hurricane season usually produces 12 named storms. 6 of those typically become hurricanes, and of those, 3 typically become major hurricanes, which is Category 3 or higher. The United States National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration will release their forecast for the 2021 season in late May. More than 15,000 persons have been inoculated since the COVID-19 vaccine was rolled out in the country, included in that number 25 on Grand Bahama. Health officials say vaccination is one way to help stop the spread of the virus. The Grand Bahama Health Service is expected to ramp up the vaccination program on Grand Bahama this week. We have a report.
The Public Hospitals Authority and the Grand Bahama Health Services rolling out the second round of the COVID-19 vaccine on Grand Bahama. The vaccine will be administered beginning Wednesday, April 14th, 2021. Appointments for this week will be available Wednesday, April 14th through Friday, April 16th at the Susan J. Wallace Center between the hours of 8 a.m. to 12 noon and 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Vaccine administration will be conducted on Saturday, April 17th at the 8 Mile Rock Clinic between the hours of 8 a.m. to 12 noon and 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Only residents of the 8 Mile Rock and West End communities will be eligible for inoculation at that location. Persons seeking to receive the vaccine must register to obtain an appointment by using the official registration site vax.gov.bs. Vaccinations will only be given to persons registered for an appointment. Persons without internet access or needing assistance with registration may contact their local church or local government office. Eligible priority groups now include healthcare workers, persons 50 years of age and older, uniform branches, that is, RBDF, RBPF, COVID ambassadors, Bahamas Department of Correctional Services, Customs and Immigration, teachers and staff of schools, hospitality workers, which include hotel and resort employees, public transportation workers, Grand Bahama International Airport staff, shipyard, industrial companies and Port Authority staff, cruise port, straw market, port and beach vendors and tour operators, restaurant and retail workers, students and athletes studying or competing abroad, coaches and other support personnel, members of the clergy, and accredited media, which include editors, reporters, anchors, photographers, and videographers. The public is encouraged to closely follow all advisories and announcements from the Ministry of Health and Public Hospitals Authority for further information about the COVID-19 vaccination process. Shamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, the National COVID-19 Vaccine Consultative Committee rolling out the COVID-19 vaccine in Abaco this week. Megan Shepard has the schedule for mainland Abaco and the Keys.
The administration of the COVID-19 vaccine on Abaco and the Keys will take place from Thursday, April 15th to Monday, April 19th. Residents from the following priority groups are eligible to receive the vaccine: healthcare workers, persons 50 years of age and older, uniformed branches, which include the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, Royal Bahamas Police Force, COVID ambassadors, Customs and Immigration, teachers and staff of schools, and hospitality workers. Vaccinations will take place at the following locations: on Thursday, April 15th at the Foxtown Clinic between 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., at the Cooperstown Clinic between 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., and at the Green Turtle Key Clinic between 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. On Friday, April 16th at the Marsh Harbor Clinic from 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. On Saturday, April 17th at the Guana Key All-Age School between 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. At the Manowar Key Clinic between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m., and the Hopetown Clinic between 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. On Sunday, April 18th, vaccinations will take place at the Sandy Point Clinic between 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. On Monday, April 19th, at the Moores Island Clinic from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., and at the Marsh Harbor Clinic from 4 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Online and on-site appointments are available. To make an appointment online, visit vax.gov.bs. A Bahamian government-issued ID is required. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
In other news, the Progressive Liberal Party's Grand Bahama Women's Branch hosting a women's wellness workshop this past Saturday. A number of presenters were on the lineup to share some important information on how women can get battle ready by first taking care of themselves. Megan Shepard has this report.
It was a day of camaraderie and information exchange at the Progressive Liberal Party's Women's Wellness Workshop, hosted by the Grand Bahama Women's Branch. Interim Chairperson Carolyn Ramming Kinglock says that the Women's Branch wanted to help women understand the importance of not only taking care of themselves physically and financially, but also sharing why they should cater to themselves.
So we have the medical personnel who would be doing pressure testing, and informing them the different aspects of health, even informing them about the COVID situation, what to be aware of and to maintain social distances and to remain safe. Also we have the masseuse who would advise them how important it is to have your massages and physical therapy and taking care of the whole woman.
Vice Chairman of the PLP Northern Branch, Julian Sawyer, says this event was a great way to connect with the community while sharing advice on topical issues, particularly staying safe during this COVID-19 era.
We also want to have that as part of our process to say, hey, it's a serious issue, and we're trying to get to where we are above and as a community, a healthy community, and they're talking mainly about those issues and just trying to reach out to people on issues that affect each one of us right now.
Presenter and registered nurse Pam Ferguson sharing key health tips. She says the topic on the forefront of everyone's mind, COVID-19 do's and don'ts.
When you take a test, you must go into quarantine. Okay, that's a must until you hear your results. You have to go into quarantine. And then, God forbid, if it's positive, then you have to go in isolation, because there's a difference between quarantine and isolation. So it's just some tips that I needed to tell them to make sure we keep safe.
The day also had lots of prizes and surprises. Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, back right after this.